Well, this Saturday marks the 250th anniversary of the start of the American Revolution. So all week long, we're looking at some of the events and figures that defined the conflict and the formation of our country.
Of course, the shot heard around the world in Lexington started it off, but that was the culmination of more than a decade of really simmering tension here in Boston.
You could say all the bad blood, scheming, and idea of independence began in 1763 over a cup of coffee. Okay, that might be hyperbole, but after the French-Indian War, the British government was in debt, so they enacted the Sugar Act. It taxed foreign imports of, yes, sugar and molasses, and put taxes on other goods, like you guessed it, coffee. But that wasn't all. In 1765 came the Stamp Act, which said you couldn't use any old paper, but had to use one with an official stamp of the crown, which, oh, by the way, that stamp was actually a tax.
You can imagine by this time, colonists have had enough, so they start organizing and meeting in places like this. Green Dragon Tavern. And Noelle, there's some well-known names associated with the tavern.
Yeah, so Sam Adams, John Hancock, Paul Revere, they all met in the Green Dragon, and they had a secret society, the Sons of Liberty.
It was in meeting places like this where the idea of the revolution really took shape. Added bonus, it was convenient for gathering intelligence as well.
The bar was an English bar, a British bar, and so the Redcoats would come and enjoy a pint and discuss, you know, what was coming.
Fascinating stuff, Noelle. Thank you. The Sons of Liberty kept meeting, people kept talking, and by early spring of 1770, everyone in town knew something was up. And on March 5th, 1770, something big went down.
It's chaos. With the firing, the crowd calms down, of course.
Yeah.
There are 3 people dead in the street, a couple of others mortally wounded.
The Boston Massacre, 5 killed, 6 wounded. But the greatest impact was how colonials used it as propaganda and a rallying cry against British rule.
Samuel Adams always said, putting your enemy in the wrong and keeping him in the wrong is a good lesson.
Thanks so much. All right, back to the Dragon.
Like Bob said, the massacre itself was largely an organic event, but 3 years later, a planned protest on a massive scale. So, Evan, the Boston Tea Party, seminal event in the history of our country.
That's correct. We look at it as the single most important event leading up to the American Revolution.
100 to 150 people took part, but in what was the worst kept secret in town, more than 1,000 came to watch.
A combination of regular townsfolk, the Sons of Liberty, people from all different backgrounds and classes, all came down right to this location on Griffin's Wharf.
And just like that, 92,000 pounds of tea went overboard. King George was livid. In the spring of 1774, he passed the Intolerable Acts. It closed down Boston Harbor and limited Massachusetts self-government. The colonists responded. In the fall of that year, the Continental Congress was formed. They outlined their grievances, organized resistance, and prepared for the inevitability of conflict. And of course, that includes a network of people getting ready to ride in case they invaded.
Right. The British, they always overplayed their hand, didn't they? They forced people into tough positions. So tomorrow I have a piece about the poem that Americans all came to embrace as the fact of the night before the Battle of Lexington and Concord, Paul Revere's ride.
Sure.
And we'll talk about how a few things are a little bit off.
Yeah, just a little.
Fantastic piece.
It's an exciting week ahead.
Oh, it is. It is. It's fun to relive it. And I was saying, every school teacher, if you're watching, show your students Chris's piece. That was a
fun way to learn.
Fantastic summation of the lead up to the revolution.
All right.